Hello everyone, welcome to our Luna Developer Beginner Training Series. My name is Melissa and I'm going to be taking you through Linux 101. So yeah, let's get started. So the first question, what is Linux? Um, Linux is actually the best and the most widely used open source operating system. As an operating system, the Linux software basically sits underneath all other software on the computer. It receives its requests from those programs and relaying those requests to the computer's hardware. That's actually the definition of an operating system, which Linux is one. Okay, another Linux is an operating system just like Windows or the Mac OS or the Android. Okay, and Linux is free as compared to Windows. Yeah. Some of the Linux distributions include Ubuntu. You have Ubuntu, which is most common. You have Fedora Linux. You have Arc Linux. You have Linux Mint. We have Android. We have Debian. We have Elementary OS. And we also have Kali Linux. We have so many Linux distributions. We can't really go through all of them right now, but you can check them out. Okay, so Linux is embedded in so many systems. It's very common in our day-to-day things, such as we have the fridge, we have the CCTV cameras, we have the watches, the routers, cars, servers, we have our phones. Android is also a distribution of Linux. As you can see, Linux is so versatile, and it's in so many devices, and it's so common. Okay, actually most, if not all, supercomputers today are usually Linux based. So it's a good operating system if you want to get into the software development world. It's good to familiarize yourself with Linux because basically it gives you the ability to be able to control, and you can be able to do so many things with it. You can be able to actually control the OS. You can be able to access things that probably if you're using Windows you couldn't. Okay, so it's more forgiving, it's more, and it's open source. So that means the chances of you getting maybe viruses are very nil, such because it is the fact that it's open source means people get to contribute as compared to Windows. So you don't need to start using antiviruses with Linux, and it's very light on your machine also. Yeah, because yeah. So those are some of the advantages of Linux over other operating systems such as Windows. Okay. So for now, I won't really go into how to set up, but you can check out these links, which we're going to add in the description. These are basically instructions on how you can install Linux, even from your Windows machine to, if you want to go to Linux. These are some very useful tutorials. You can check them out during your own time. And you're going to learn basically how to do that. It's very simple if you just follow those steps. So for now, what is a terminal? I'm going to dive, since Linux, in Linux you get to use the terminal a lot, okay, to install things, to install things and um, to do so many things. Okay, you get to use the terminal. It's basically Linux and the terminal, they go hand in hand. So terminal is a command line interface. Okay, you can, and the terminal is also, it's not only in Linux, it also exists in Windows, in the on the Mac, and in Windows it's mostly known as the command prompt, and the Linux. Okay, So to open command prompt in Windows, you click start and then you search for command prompt, or you could also access it by pressing Control and R on your keyboard and then you type CMD. Okay. So and on the Mac OS, you can just launch the launchpad, open the launchpad and search for it, or you can press Command and space and search for terminal. But on Linux, the easiest way is Control Alt Delete, Alt T, sorry. Yeah, those, if you press those three keys, you can be able to open your terminal. Yeah, and you can also check out this site. It's going to show you some more basic commands that you can use to open your terminal. So let's get into some basic Linux commands. We're going to open the terminal. That's the terminal, so let's open it. Okay, so this is how the terminal looks like. This is where we're going to run our commands. So we're going to begin with the navigation commands, but just before that, we're going to see this is just a command that shows who is currently logged in, the currently logged in user. Okay, that's the command. As you can see, that's the name of the person who is currently logged in. So this depends with your machine. Let's maximize so that you can be able to see clearly. Okay, and the next command now we're going to see is the ls, or the list. Okay, so this basically lists the content in your directory. We're going to see what's inside your directory. As you can see, that's what's inside our directory. The next command we're going to look at is listing contents of a directory and of a stated directory. So for us, we're going to check out what's in the desktop. So ls desktop. This shows the contents of the desktop directory. Okay. The next command is going to list the contents of the root directory. So this is the ls and the / as you can see, that's the content of our root directory. Okay, so where if you just type that command, you're going to see. The next one is listing the content of our parent directory, which is one level above. Okay, that's the command is ls and two full stops. Okay, as you can see, that's the content of the parent directory one level above. The next one is list, if you want to list only directories. Okay, so that's ls hyphen d. Sorry, this lists the contents of the home user, like the, yeah, you get. The next one we're going to look at is the ls, and now you're only going to list down only directories in that folder. Okay, so we have the desktop documents. As you can see, those are the only listing the directories in this directory, okay, or in this location. So let's just do a clear. This will erase everything. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is how to navigate to a specific location. So this is the CD desktop, and then now that's the, so we've navigated to the desktop. If you want to see what's in the desktop, there we have it. Okay, and next we're going to see display the current working directory. That's the pwd displays the current working directory. Then if you want to show the history, okay, so just a second. So just to see the history of the commands, this shows a list of commands used in this terminal session. As you can see, there's the list of commands in this terminal session. And then clear, let's just clear that. Okay, next we're going to see determine the file type. So that command is file and the name of that file. Okay, file and the name of that file, as it's yeah, the mail videos, as you can see. So we want to determine its file type. If it has a space, make sure you use a / and a space. So for example, like it's mail and then space in the videos, that's why it's like that. As you can see, it's a directory. And then you can see it's a directory. And then next, we're going to find a specific file. Okay, so in this case, you're going to find, maybe you want to find all the folders or files that have mail, the word mail there. Okay, so no search because I named it mail dot, so there's no file that's like named mail dot something. Okay, so let's correct that. Let's do mail space and then yeah, without the mail. So as you can see, we have mail videos, and the MP4 file. So that's just how you can find videos from your, or sorry, find files from your terminal. The next command we're going to go into is how to work with files using the terminal. Okay, so the first one is we're going to make a directory. Okay, so this is just the basics. Let's see how we can make a directory from the terminal. You can create a folder or a directory. That's the mkdir. And then the folder name that you want to name that directory or folder. So let's name it directory test or dir test. So if you check, we can see it exists. There it is. There is our directory. Okay, so inside we're going to navigate inside this directory. But first, let's create this. So we weren't supposed to create, you see, if we create it like this, it's going to be now in the desktop folder, but we want it in the dir test folder. So we're first of all going to navigate to that folder. So cd dir, and then just if you press tab, yes, it's going to pick up the name and auto complete it for you. So now we can create it over here. Okay, so as you can see, we have our index folder created here. And the next, we're going to see how to copy files from one directory to another location. So first of all, let's create some few files so that we can be able to play around with them. So touch file1.txt. Okay, let's create another file. We're going to name it file2.txt. Okay, so if you check, we have the two files. Okay, so we have the file1 and file2. So now we can be able to copy now the files. cp file1, that's the file that we want to copy, and then file3, sorry, is the destination. Okay, but we've named it wrongly. Clearly this is wrong, so because it's called file1.txt, so let's correct that. File1.txt, and then the destination is file3.txt. Okay, file3.txt, and then press enter. Now if you ls, as you can see, it's going to create a new file. It's going to copy the contents, and if it doesn't exist, it's going to create a new file. So it created a new file, file3.txt. Okay, so that's how you simply copy files files and file contents from one file to another. So the next is how to move files or directories from one place to another, which is also pretty simple. It's supposed to be mv file 2.txt. We want to move file 2 to file 3. Okay, so remember, always the last is always destination. File source, sorry, file 4, sorry. So and then now once we list the contents, you can see we've just moved file 2. It doesn't exist anymore, to file 4, and it has created file 4. Okay, so if it doesn't exist, it is always going to be created when you're copying or moving files. Next, we're going to see how we can remove files permanently. So to remove a file permanently, use the rm command, rm file3.txt. We want to remove that file. As you can see, it doesn't exist anymore, so it removes it permanently, okay, or deletes it, in other words. So as we can even try again, rm file. If you want to remove two files at the same time, we just chain those commands. So this is the two files, and they've been removed. As you can see, it's only file 1 that is remaining. So let's clear. Okay, and next we're going to talk about checking the disk status. So if you want to just know the status of your disk, basically these are also few commands. Just before that, we can play around with creating the file. So we can create another file, file2.txt. As you can see, now we have two files. Okay, and then we can create another one. Okay, so this is just to be able to, this is how we create two files at the same time. As you can see, we've now created file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. So the purpose of this is to demonstrate how to remove, just before we go to disk status, how we can remove all these files at the same time. Okay, so the command is rm -v. It's missing the asterisk. Yeah, that's the problem. So let's do that again. rm -v, then all. Okay, so as you can see, it has removed all the 4 files. If we check, you can see the files are not there anymore. So let's clear. Now we can now go back to the disk status. Okay, so the df, this command, it displays the disk status, for example, the use and the available kilobytes. As you can see what is used, what is the available space, the percentage, and where it has been mounted. Okay, so yeah, that's what the df command does. Next, if you want to see the used status, like the status for the disk space that has been used, let's clear that first. Okay, that's the df -h. As you can see, so that displays the used disk status. This next command shows all apps in progress and launched by the user. So as you can see, you can be able to see all the apps, okay, that have been launched by a user. You can be able to just track your apps here, you know, and just get to know what's going on within your machine. Okay, so as you can see, Yeah, that's the terminal. See, this is just a list of all the apps. Okay, let's clear that. Next, I'm going to, okay, so let's go back to our parent directory, which is the desktop. That's the CD and the two dots, if I may call them so. So I'm going to show you how to edit with VI or Vim. That's VI improved. Okay, so we're just going to see how we can edit files using that. So let's first of all navigate to our desktop again. Let's create a few files here. So touch file 1.txt, and then you can see we've created our file successfully. Okay, so now to be able to open this, if you want to edit a file on terminal, we just use now VI, and then as you can see now, here's our Vim VI editor. Okay, so to be able to press insert to be able to make it editable. So we're going to just write a text. This is Linux commands. Okay, this is a Linux commands tutorial. Okay, so to be able to quit there, we can we're going to press escape and then colon WQs. Then once you press enter, you can be able to exit the Vim editor. So that's just how you can, there's so many more commands you can do with this. So you can also check it out. I'm going to leave a document with all that. So to be able to see what we have just typed, I'm going to do cat file.txt. You can see here's the text that we have. Yeah, we spelled it wrongly. So this is the text that we have been able to type, okay, to add to that file. Okay. You can see. So this next command, this shows you all the possible commands you can run with that command. So for example, ls list, you can see it lists directory contents. You can see these are the possible commands, you know, if you want to, if you don't know, like if you're not sure about a command or what other commands follow that command, that makes sense. You can use now the man command, you know, man, and then you type that command you're not sure of, maybe ls or vi, or in this case you can try man vi. You see, it opens the possible commands you can use with Vim. Its name is vi improved. Again, it's a text editor. So you can see, so let's just, you can see these are the various commands and the descriptions. It's very good. This really helps. You don't have to cram all this again. Okay, so let's quit. So yeah, I think we are almost coming to the end of our tutorial. Yeah, but the last one you have the users. Okay, if you want to see users, just do users. You can see the logged in users. Okay. Okay, so to be able to run an update on your machine, like on your Linux machine, you just run sudo updates, and then you put the password. Okay, so type my password. Just enter your password, and then it should update your, you can be able to run an update. You can see even how fast it is as compared to, Windows, or just one command, and it basically updates your packages or your apps, all that. Okay, so if you want to kill or exit, you can just type exit. Okay, um, that is it for now.